rooted in community and built for you. This is the You plus TFCU Podcast.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of You plus TFCU. I am Andrew.
And I'm Israel, and today we have Nancy with us. Nancy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. I mean, we are loving the new setup and everything, right? But
This is very impressive. You guys look like you know what you're doing.
Somebody knows what they're doing. I don't know if we get any credit for anything.
But yeah, thanks for coming to make it so much better, right? Nancy, can you tell the listeners a little bit about you? What do you do at TFCU, and just something personal about you so we can get to know you a little bit?
Well, I'm Nancy Ward. I have worked at Tinker Federal Credit Union for 30 years.
30 years.
Just a minute, yeah. I love what I do. I love the credit union. I love that we serve our members, and I have never been interviewed about this topic today.
Awesome. Well,
So,
first time for everything.
good luck, everybody.
Right. So today the topic is the credit union difference, right? Mm-hmm. So we're trying to understand the basics, right? Can you explain what is different from a credit union versus a bank or a traditional bank?
Sure. So both credit unions and banks have an important role in our financial system. And in a lot of ways, they look pretty similar. And so the main difference is really structural. Mm-hmm. A bank is a for-profit entity,
right.
And a credit union is a not-for-profit, member-owned financial cooperative, meaning our members own this credit union. If there were 5 of them, if there were 5 million of them, they are all equal owners of Tinker Federal Credit Union.
Awesome. I know Dave, we had Dave on the last podcast, and he mentioned that you're going to speak a little bit about that, right? But as far as member focus, right? Education. Andrew, do you want to share your thoughts on
education?
Right?
I have the least of anyone in this room, which, by the way, just probably should be stated, you represent 2/3 of the departments that are in this room right now, right, as the head of facilities and of marketing. So financial education is one of the groups that is underneath the umbrella of marketing, and you've been involved with marketing here for over 30 years. Tell us a little bit about what they do and some of the other departments within there.
Well, we have a team of 4, soon to be 5, professional financial wellness team members, and they are unbelievable.
So say that again, what you called them, the financial
wellness team.
Okay. You
yeah.
make me feel bad twice about my health and about my financial well-being. Okay.
Well, it's important for us to take a look at the member's whole picture. So wellness is such a part of our everyday conversation in terms of what we eat and how active we are. But a big part of your wellness picture is if you are financially well. And if and that doesn't mean wealthy. It just means do you have your finances in condition where it is not causing mental stress, where your money is working for you, not you for it, and you are willing and able to support yourself and your family in a way that doesn't cause you a lot of undue stress and hardship.
So when you're talking about financial wellness, obviously we are trying as an organization to support the health and wellness, maybe more of the financial wellness, so to speak, of our members on that side. But does that kind of play into the mindset of a credit union, or at least our credit union specifically, and how so? How does that kind of fit into some of our core principles as a credit union?
So, our commitment to our community is one of our core principles, and I think our financial wellness team is one of the ways that we really support that principle. Our folks go out, and they're usually, it's not all about numbers, but, I will say we're usually like first or second in the nation at this.
Awesome.
And they are out every day teaching workshops, teaching classes, working with people one-on-one to make sure that our community is empowered with the information that they need to foster that financial wellness in their lives. So
awesome.
It's been something that we have valued for a long time here at Tinker Federal Credit Union, and our team just gets better every year.
Awesome. You mentioned you've been at TFCU for 30 years. Can you share an example, a story of a time that we went out in the community and how that impacted you as well, and how to navigate, your position and kind of feed that throughout TFCU?
Oftentimes what we do with our financial wellness team kind of pairs up with some other teams that we have here at TFCU, business development or community engagement. We have, for instance, right now, a great partnership with a nonprofit here in Oklahoma City called Not Your Average Joe. And they are a nonprofit coffee shop that has a mission of providing meaningful employment to adults with developmental disabilities. And so one of the things that we have done is made space for them in our Choctaw branch to have a coffee shop that is married with a TFCU branch.
Awesome.
So whether you want your coffee or want your money or whether you need both, you just come to one place. But in doing so, we've met some of the most incredible people. And so one of the stories that their executive director likes to talk about are some of their employees, they call them friends, and they are their friends,
Right.
who, because of their employment, for the first time in their life, also has a checking account and also is learning to manage their money and be independent and have a meaningful life, not just with their money, but with their being able to have the kind of social interaction that comes from meaningful employment. So that's been really special.
I mean, that's awesome whenever you look at that, right? As far as like the trickling down effect. We understand just, within TFCU as employees that, we need to hear stories like that. And it kind of gives us that boost, right, Andrew?
So we've got a structure as a co-op, which is member-owned, and not dissimilar from any other co-op that exists out there.
Right.
How does that member-owned structure impact the way that we operate?
Oh, that's a good question. There are some technical ways that impacts what we do. We are, as you said, a member-owned financial cooperative. That means that our board of directors is chosen from those members. Their job is to advocate for our members. They are their representatives to make sure this credit union is doing what it was set out to do by the 7 founding members back in 1946. And that is to make decisions about financial services that are going to help the now 470,000 members at Tinker Federal Credit Union.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I overheard Dave saying that our $300, right? Our first loan was $300 back in 1946, right? That we've come a long way for sure. Can you tell us what are some financial advantages today of being a member at TFCU or a credit union in general?
Yeah. So because we are not for profit, we don't have to turn around and pay stockholders big dividends every year. It doesn't mean we don't need to make a little money. We're not for profit, but we're not for loss, right? So what we make in terms of net income, some of that is set aside in the form of capital, and that's our rainy day fund. Just like you and your family probably have a rainy day fund, the credit union has one in case the economy, does this thing. But after that, we have this really incredible opportunity to return what's left to our members. And the way we do that, if we're well managed, and we are, is in the form of lower loan rates, higher rates on their savings, lower fees on their checking services. And so that's the thing you really notice about all credit unions, us included, is that it's just a lot more affordable. If you ask ChatGPT, they will tell you that the average credit union member, meaning someone who does all of their services at a credit union, will save about $300 a year on their deposit services. And then if they have a car loan, it's usually about another $300 a year that they're saving. So it's $600 a year that you save just in what you're spending to work with your money. That's meaningful money
Right.
to most families. Can make a big difference.
So you also kind of touched on this as well, but how do credit unions typically handle fees? Because I know that this is something that's really under the microscope lately, not just with our organization, but and Congress as well. How do we handle fees, and how do those impact our members, and how are we dealing with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's been such a topic in the news the last few years, right? So typically credit unions have lower and fewer fees to start with.
Right.
And then we look at those fees under a microscope all the time. We take fees very seriously. Credit unions just don't feel like the way to do business is to hit people over the head with fees all the time. And so we want to make sure that what we're offering is fair. Now, we do have an obligation if something is costing the credit union money,
Right.
then that's a time when we might look at a fee to offset what that's costing the other members in terms of us being a financial cooperative. But we also want to sit down and work with that member to say, let's look at some ways that going forward you won't be in this boat, that you might be able to step away from some of the things that might be driving some of these fees in your picture.
Nancy, you mentioned earlier about savings and $300 to $600 annually savings. What are some of the other financial advantages by somebody being with a credit union versus a bank?
So one of the things is you just have so many options. Almost any financial product you need, especially as a consumer, for your household, for your kids, for your family, you can come to your credit union and find those. You can come to your credit union's website and find those. And so it makes having all of that in one place and one online banking experience really a lot easier for people.
But tell us a little bit more about how credit unions, but maybe TFCU in particular, operates in the community. We've talked a little bit about community engagement, but what are some of the ways that other departments serve the community, from Member Solutions, who's been on here before, and I keep targeting the marketing team, but there's innumerable ways that we assist others.
Right.
So you talked about Member Solutions. So if someone hasn't seen that podcast or heard it, that's a team that works one-on-one with people. They are financial coaches. So they'll sit down and work through individually what someone's financial picture should look like. We already talked about how we do that on a little bit larger scale with our financial wellness team, and they're doing workshops and classes, going out and speaking with groups. We also, throughout the credit union, support people supporting our local nonprofits. We do a lot of volunteerism. We do a lot of support of the nonprofit community in all of the markets where TFCU has a presence. We have an entire business development team that works one-on-one with those organizations. And then we have a community engagement team, and they are also involved in that nonprofit community, but they also really double down when it comes to members to make sure that we are taking care of TFCU's members through loyalty programs, through things even like our Heritage Club program, where we provide special programming and classes, sometimes trips that our Heritage Club members can participate in at a really low cost. Makes it really affordable to kind of get out and have some fun and spend some time together.
Can I put you on the spot for a second? And
Please.
This is not on the list here, but and if we can't think of this, cut this. Do you know off the top of your head numbers of the number of events or trainings or other community events that our teams, and this is just TFCU, not other organizations that are credit unions, which is kind of what we're talking about, but how many types of events have we put on out in the community?
Our marketing team usually runs about 2,500 projects a year.
Well,
So it's pretty incredible. The financial wellness team, which is part of that, for several years has reached over 20,000 people a year. So these are real kind of moments of impact for TFCU. But it's because our members are here. They support us. They really kind of fuel these programs and what we do and why we do it. So it's really exciting for us.
And those events, I don't get to see all of them, just what I see on LinkedIn pop up periodically, but those are from everywhere from business partners or just other businesses in the community to college students that they're conducting these classes on. So these are not just exclusive for TFCU members. They are going out, and often cases, there's nothing for us to gain other than just to assist the community with education.
Right. You asked, kind of what's the difference between a credit union and a bank? Well, you have to qualify to join a credit union. That has nothing to do with your credit worthiness. You generally qualify to join a credit union either because of where you live geographically, or that you're affiliated with a group. In Tinker Federal Credit Union's case, it's normally that you're affiliated with one of about 3,000 groups, so a lot of people qualify. But we serve directly the students, faculty, and staff of about 9 Oklahoma colleges and universities, just as an example. And so that's a really great connection for us to go out and reach people who are just starting their financial lives, and make sure we're getting people off on the right track with financial services and empowering them with information to make, as their mom says, before they go off to college, good choices. I'm
curious your perspective on a related topic. It would be the personalization of service. It's something that I think we have done a very good job of an organization. And I don't know if there's a credit union specific way about customer service, but what are your thoughts on the way that we approach personalization and customer service to our members and non-members too, who have any experience with TFCU, virtual or personal?
Well, I think, it's kind of like an analog digital conversation. And I'm from the 1900s, my friends, so I can speak really well to analog.
This is probably shocking.
I know. It's like,
blast from the past.
What is happening? Podcast, what's that? But TFCU has had a long-term reputation for delivering incredible member service face-to-face. Through our call center. Anytime you get a Tinker Federal Credit Union human, this is usually a win for us because we've got an entire staff of people who get it. Right. We like to say we get it. We get it that these are our members. They own the credit union. We are only here working to serve them.
Right.
And so providing that type of face-to-face personal service is just kind of in our DNA. I like to think that these jobs that we have appeal to the kind of people who like to do that, who like to help people. So the big question is, right, how do we take that and create that same feeling in technology? And so your team does a great job of that. They have this entire technology infrastructure, but they're able to reach through that and have that personal interaction with people. And so I think that's a big win for technology when we can still deliver that same feeling. Right. And then, once you go into mobile, once you look at online technologies, it becomes even a little bit more challenging. But that's what makes it fun to figure out, how are we going to take that same feeling that they're getting from that credit union professional that they're working with and apply it in a purely digital setting. So
I've heard you be kind of the voice of reason on more than one occasion. Whenever we
surely not.
Very much so. Very much so. And we all have our own professional goals and the way that we envision our respective departments and what that service looks like. And I've heard you on more than one occasion slow a conversation down because you could sense that, hey, this is going to take away something from a member, and this is going to change the way that they experience us. And we need to be able to balance technological growth and making sure that at the core of whatever we do is about the member. Right. And Dave said when we spoke with him, and I've heard him say on multiple occasions, that we are member first and employee second. Right. And sometimes those decisions are sacrificing something that the employee might have benefited from because we do not want to take that away from somebody else. which I respect that. And honestly, if there was not a Nancy Ward in the room, probably would have swung very rapidly to a technological answer that would have hurt people. We may get there eventually, but we don't have to do it today.
Yeah.
We don't have to force it.
Well, there are a lot of areas where you have to kind of fill out that balance. The financial side of our business is one of those. We want to give as much back to our members as we can, but we can't do that successfully, and we can't have the technologies and all the other things that we need to deliver service to our members successfully if we don't run a financially responsible credit union. And so we have to look out for the bottom line in all of this. And so there are conversations you can get into in a meeting where like, okay, well, we could make more money on this if we did it this way. Sometimes that might be the way to go, but sometimes you kind of have to temper that conversation and say, but is that the best thing for the member? And that's one of the things I love about working here is because I hear that conversation over and over and over. Yes, but is that the thing we should do for the members? And it almost always comes back around to, okay, let's do the right thing for the member. So it's just a great place to work because I come to work knowing that the things I do are going to make a difference for people every day.
You do have a deep background here at TFCU, having started. Well, actually, we didn't even ask this question. Can you walk us through some of the different positions you've held here at TFCU? Like,
And
how did you
they
get started
change,
here?
right?
That's
probably like
I
question.
didn't study my resume.
You know it better than any of us.
I think my first position here was as a marketing coordinator. Today, that would be a position that we call a core side marketer. Most of our folks are now marketing project managers.
Okay.
And then my role changed, I think, maybe 4 or 5 times, always with marketing something in the title, depending on if they wanted me managing people or what they needed me to do at the time. And it was a great journey, and I think just always being open to saying, yeah, I'll try that, kind of worked out for me in the long run. That's kind of what I'm doing now in this role. I'll try that. And I'm having a great time with it. There's still a lot I don't know, but I've got some great people. I'm surrounded by a great team, and I'm learning a lot and having a great time.
How have things changed for you in your tenure here? Not just in the credit union world, but in the TFCU world. How have you seen things change for the good, for the bad, the ugly?
Well, I will say we're 10 times bigger than we were when I started here. And when you look at, all the numbers, everything is just bigger, bigger, bigger. But what hasn't changed is the way we approach what we do. That we are, again, showing up every day. We are here for our members, and we're making decisions about what we deliver for their best interest. And so it's kind of a lot of things have changed, but the important parts have stayed exactly the same. And that's been kind of exciting. But because we've grown, we're able to do more things. And because time has gone by and technology has progressed, we have things like ITMs and new ways to take those services out to members. So in some ways it's gotten more complicated because technology isn't always easy, but it's critical. And more new markets gives us an opportunity to go and make friends in new communities and have members from other places. But I think it just makes us all better as we go about what we're doing here.
Fair enough.
Nancy, the credit union difference, right? If you could leave our listeners with one thought, one key takeaway regarding this topic, what would it be?
Well, I think that, that whole idea about saving $600 a year, for anybody who's doing a little math, I think that one can be pretty compelling, right? And if somebody hasn't already tried a credit union as their financial institution, hopefully that might be enough to kind of make it worth the effort to switch. But I think once they switch, then that's when the real magic happens, and they get to meet people like you and people like you. And
people like you too.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. And it's those connections and those people who have the members' best interest at heart that really create that loyalty that we've seen so much at Tinker Federal Credit Union. And that's where the magic happens, and that's where we get lifelong members. And that's why we have so many members who, when you ask them, well, when did you join the credit union? Like, I don't know. My mom opened my account for me when I was really small, and I have never left. Well, people who never leave are here because of that magic that you all are bringing to their lives all the time.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. I know you're a busy person, getting to hang out with us.
We all are. We all are.
With the credit union difference, I'm sure there's going to be follow-up questions or probably emails or calls coming your way. Who knows? But thank you so much for your time.
It's been a great time. Thanks so much.